How's it going, guys? This is Ketchup and Mustard here, and you will notice very, very quickly that we're taking a blast from the past. Like what, 1 year ago at this point? It's been just over a year since the Fatal 8, and that's what we're going to do for you guys today. It's been a long time. Obviously, the game has developed a lot. It's changed a lot. And most notably, we've had more than 2 days of time with it at this point. So what we're going to do is, we're going to do something that we haven't done before. Now, I've watched this before, but Ketchup has never actually watched this set back. Look, I know that the very first recorded competitive match of Mortal Kombat X is me getting my ass absolutely handed to me by Sonicfox at the Fatal 8. And to kind of like set the tone, I'm going to read you a couple of comments from people on the video. That is the worst Quan Chi I've ever seen. His best combo ended too fast and was only like 21%. I guess he was nervous or something. Ketchup is such a nice guy. I almost can't watch this as I already know what will happen. V-Man is better than both these guys. He was very smart choosing a character like that. Obviously talking about Aaron Black. And obviously is Ketchup a boy or a girl? Now, what a meme. What we are going to do is we're going to watch this back and we're going to analyse what will be horrendous gameplay against Sonicfox, who was, to be fair, like, all reasoning aside, even at this point in the game, he was doing work. Like, he'd found his comfort in Aaron Black. It was Outlaw. He knew immediately what he was going to be doing. Before this set begins, I really want to give you guys a little bit of a kind of history lesson, I suppose. So the Fatal 8, a whole bunch of us were flown out for this exhibition to kind of have a bit more of kind of like worldwide representation. So a mixture of community faces, you know, loved players, top tournament players, commentators, combo artists, yeah, with Tony T, who was also at this tournament. We had access to the game for about, I think, 2 days. It was about 12 hours a day for 2 days. It wasn't 12 hours. It was about 2 days for about 10 hours a day. So in total, about 20 hours of just most of the guys. I know some players had access to it like for about half an hour here and there at different conventions. I know, obviously, like some of the American ones and some of the European ones, but really, it was just straight up. This was everyone's first competitive experience of the game. To actually have time to sit down with a game in your hands and go, what is Mortal Kombat X? What is it going to be? Because at this point, we'd had Mortal Kombat 9 years ago, and Injustice was the newest game. So we hadn't played a new Mortal Kombat for a serious amount of time. Now, also, 2 days of experience. This was a pre-day one patch version of the game, so balance wasn't quite there. Things were different, even before the build that we saw today. Things were quite different. Aaron Black, actually, as a character, had quite a few differences on him, and we'll kind of talk about it as we go. But you know what? Let's just get stuck in. I mean, I'm kind of ready to kind of cringe, because I know that I did not play good. But let's go. So I used Summoner. I was using Sorcerer in most of the practice days, and I discovered Summoner quite late, and I realised that the zoning was really, really effective. Let me kind of turn this down. We're going to have to turn this one down, otherwise we can get some overlapping echo in voices, I think. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, basically, I went Summoner because I realised that the zoning potential was quite strong, and I figured if I'm going to beat Sonicfox, I have to do my best to keep him away. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work that way. He got in almost immediately every single game. Oh, little did we know this was not a game that would favour Silence. I had no idea that Quan got wrecked. The first move of competitive Mortal Kombat X was Jumping Punch. But it was true. Look at that horrendous neutral jump punch back 1-2. I think, what was that supposed to be, back 1-2 bat? Was that supposed to be? What was I doing? I couldn't tell you. Alright, there's a nice corner launcher. It's alright, Caltrop's already going for the 50-50s. I did block the overhead, but it meant nothing. Got the overhead again, and there we go. I get a combo. What was it? Was it NJP? Oh god. Back 1-2 bat? It was, and then I tried to zone him. But he already ran in. And I did the close one because I thought he was going to try and jump. Now, meter burn slide from Aaron Black in this build of the game was completely safe on block. Like, a free way in. It was amazing. Over. Grabbing on a delay wake up. And I anti-aired him. Yeah, there you go. How about that? Now, I think that was the only round I won the whole set. At least you can say you won the first round of competitive Mortal Kombat X. The first round of competitive MK went to PND Ketchup, don't forget. No, it went to Ketchup. You went not PND on the graphics. Just in spirit. It's kind of interesting watching Sonicfox's pressure. He actually didn't end a whole lot in the grab, and he didn't have stamina as well, man. Meter burn plus. He blocked the low. Even back then, I was trying to do it early, because I wanted to try and hit confirm into the slightly less unsafe version. Oh, and command grab was way more plus on hit back then too, and I ate the overhead right there. Tried to confirm, but missed it. Too far. Already doing instant NJPs on wake up.
a quad player from the very beginning.
Well, the thing is, all of the hard to blockable stuff, I mean, like, it took, like, some serious lab time from a lot of players, you know? So, I mean, at the time, I kind of went into using, and that, you know, back then as well, the kind of instant recovering bat. I went into Summoner with, like, a very kind of, sort of, zoner-heavy playstyle. That's kind of the way I wanted to play Summoner day one. Oh, wow. I didn't even know that air-to-air. And look, I didn't know what to confirm. I didn't even know about forward 2-1-2-2 back then. I should have done a forward 2-1-2-2 run in 1-4-1, but back then I was just like, 1-4-1 knockdown bat. Brilliant, let's go.
See, Sonicfox is always getting some nice damage. But still, like, standard air-to-air. Nice 50-50. Already having to break.
And that's safe on block. That's actually the reason I didn't even try and punish that, was because... yeah, back in the day, that meter burn slide, totally safe. And they made it unsafe on pretty much the day one patch, actually. The day one version of the game, meter burn slide became unsafe. But at this point, what was it? There was a whole bunch of things. Like, quite a few of his strings were plus on block too.
1-1-2 was +1 instead of -5, I think.
No, I think it was +5. It was either +1 or +5.
Basically, 1-1-2 was plus. His down one was a lot better, I believe. His slide, meter burn slide was safe. Command grab was hella plus on hit. What else? There was a few other things, weren't there? I'm sure there were.
I'm sure there are, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Even Summoner back there, like instant recovery on my bat. Like in this build of the game, he would have had those crazy like 60%.
Oh yeah, dude. Like even in this build of the game, he would have had quite a lot of really good damage. All the hard to blockable stuff would have existed. It's just I didn't know about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like I said, I went into using Summoner as like I kind of knew about. That's the thing about this set, right? I knew about a lot of the sort of the mix-up potential rather than hard to blockable stuff, where it's more doing a 50-50 and then looping low bat into another 50-50. That was the kind of stuff that I was playing day one, and even then, I like that. He was even like what, day one minus day one
already
version
punishing
of the game?
standard runes.
Yeah, so like Sonicfox, because we'd played a whole bunch of casuals before then, and I sure you know, the casuals went a lot better than this set did. But even back then, he's punishing regular rune, which is totally awesome.
But it's kind of the biggest the biggest kind of adjustment that I see is a lot of the mind games have stayed the same. Like a lot of the general reads are the same. It's kind of just it's easy to underestimate just how important combo damage is.
Oh yeah.
Like being able to just get the maximum amount of damage off of every single situation. And I got obviously like wasn't ready for the low there. People still to this day get hit by that, so of course. There's that restand, blocks all of it, but you didn't enforce 50-50.
Oh, and I should have just done 1-4. I tried to punish the sand. Oh no, wait, was the sand was much safer back then too, I believe.
They that was after launch they made sand more punishable on block.
Yeah, sand was quite tricky to punish back then.
It's actually quite...
You know, I actually blocked quite a lot of these 50-50s, but I got wrecked anyway. Look at those blocks, and I got tick grab, man.
Welcome to MKX, man, day one.
But the thing is, like, I had no idea. And one thing you notice as well is I don't delay wake up. So back then as well, like, very little of us, I think the only player out of the 8 of us that was really kind of rinsing delayed wake up was Forever King. Forever King, he was playing Bojitsu Kung Jin back then in this kind of day.
I remember when Forever King and Reinhardt, they were both playing Bojitsu, so they just had like a 3-hour long set of just Bojitsu mirrors, and they both leveled up so much from it. But like, I mean, that's how I forget Reinhardt was part of this, but Reinhardt made such a...
He held his own too.
Yeah, he really did. Well. I mean, that's actually... I would go as far as to say that's probably one of my biggest disappointments about competitive MKX is that Reinhardt didn't continue to play it, because he had such a strong start, and with so much money in it, like he could have been one of the strongest, like fundamentally strongest players,
even in season 1.
Even in season 1 of the Pro League, like. But I mean, I understand his reasoning, right? Street Fighter 5 came out. He has always been a Street Fighter guy, so that's where his priorities went. And obviously at the time it was a Street Fighter 4 Capcom Pro Tour, which was sort of finishing up. So he wanted to focus on that, which I completely understand. And there you go, yeah, you use the launcher. I think that's actually the first time I used that string though. But I did the whole one. I don't think I really paid much attention to the third hit being 0 on block. Because if you go back... I will always remember when I was trying out quad in training mode at Fatal 8, I looked at the frame data and I found forward 2-1-2 and I saw it was 0 on block. And I went, hey Ryan, this string's 0 and it's 3 mids. And you're like, nah, you'll never get that. you'll never get that
because
one.
it was really slow, right? It was really slow.
No, it's because at this point,
man, I threw that one away with a preemptive NJP.
At this point, all the players were just sitting around looking if their character. As soon as we saw Sonicfox doing this stuff with Outlaw and Casuals, everyone just took their character and looked if they had 50/50s, and they're like,
get that advert out of the way.
And if you didn't, like right here, people were like, man, it's not the mids that are going to do work. It's going to be the 50/50s. Because keep in mind, if you've had like 2 days worth of game time, that isn't enough time to learn every character's like fuzzies and their strings and their 50/50s and crap. Like,
hey man, we all thought Aaron Black was the best character in the game day one. We were like, look at all this crazy stuff.
Well, no, I distinctly remember because obviously we had some key players there as well who had, like, for example, Brady had a little bit of early access to the game because of his work with the Primer Guide. So he was basically helping all the players out.
Should have done Meteor Burn Hammer there too. Didn't even try it. Like, I didn't even know that Meteor Burn Interactable had armor, so I just try and jump out.
Well, it was getting used to Interactables and MKX then, really, or just Interactables and Mortal Kombat game in general.
It makes you wonder, right? It makes you wonder if I'd have just known about all of the Quandeur, you know, if I'd have known about even like the simplest hard to blockable, because like because I didn't know about it, I obviously didn't go for it a single time. If I'd have gone for like the low overhead or the overhead low blocks, do you reckon Sonicfox would have been able to deal with that? Well, I mean, would anyone be able to deal with it? But no one knew.
I wouldn't assume so, because like Summoner did a lot of damage in America as soon as it was fleshed out.
Well, Summoner Quan won the first major because Wonder Chef, knowing about all the hard to blockables, going into Northwest Majors, and he did really well, won that tournament.
I think so. But I think one thing that I find quite interesting watching this back is obviously the Quandeur took a long time. Well, I say a long time. It took a good like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, it took a couple of weeks before it was really kind of like exposed.
But watching Outlaw now and the way Sonicfox is using him, like you can tell there's a reason Sonicfox is so comfortable with this character, because the combos aren't there and the maximized damage isn't there, but the general game plan is the same as like here as what he did months after the game came out. Like,
God, that's the worst. I can't believe that was my B&B back then.
I mean, 28% damage isn't terrible. It's just terrible in comparison to what we now know he was capable of getting.
Trying to backdash, and I forget about stamina. No back two chances either, always going into Rune. I think I came close to winning so many rounds, and Sonicfox just always... I believe he pulled this one out too. Like, he always just pulled it out. Oh, and I just didn't expect the slide. I think that was a back two skull? I can't even remember what move that was supposed to be, but either way, the skull definitely wasn't intentional. Just ready to punish everything and anything with standing one. Oh, missed the confirm.
I mean, even little things that we just have as like basic muscle memory now, like, you know, run cancelling to just get that little bit closer to make your strings hit in the middle of a combo. Like, that was difficult for a lot of people.
Right there, that was low overhead, but because I wasn't in the muscle memory of doing trance back then, I got the low overhead, but I didn't do anything with it. That was actually technically the first hard to blockable, but I don't even know if I intended on it being a hard to blockable, like, because that was just a low overhead block. And look how you see how quickly that 1-1-2 recovered back then.
Yeah.
Like, he got a free down one check after it every time. Oh,
well, that is why it was his sort of go-to all the time, is because that was it. You know, it gave him that free down one, and a free down one was plus frames for hit and 50/50 sound. Like, he had a lot going for him. You swapped to Sorcerer here, didn't you?
I'm pretty sure I went to Sorcerer in the 5th game because I'm like, well, Summoner isn't working out. Sorcerer, yeah, I'm thinking about it there. I'm like, I'm really. That's probably the most serious I've looked in a lot of these tournament matches, because, I mean, I really wanted to do well here. I feel like I definitely sort of drew the short straw by getting Fox first, because if you go back and watch any of these other Fate Lake matches, you will realise that Fox actually decimated everybody. Well, it just so happens that he decimated me first.
Well, the thing is, Tyrant got the first game on him, but then lost 5 straight. MIT lost 5 straight. Like, Sonicfox definitely... This was the start of his reign for a reason. Like, even to this day, a year after, like, he's Season 1 and 2 champion, Evo champion, and we've got Combo Breaker this weekend. Season 3 finals, obviously, but Season 3 finals, he's not the #1 seed. So, all eyes are going to be on him to try and get that 3-peat. But right from the day one, he was doing
I'm interested to see.
You could have rune trapped him, Ryan. It was in the game.
Oh,
it was in the game this whole time.
I could have done it. I could have done it, man. I could have done it. I'm actually really interested to see how my Sorcerer What did I do there? Why
it was down 3. You probably went for armor and messed it up.
Oh my god, that was it. That was my armor setup. And I get the wrong rune as well. I tried to do a close one back then and I screwed it up.
But you know what the biggest difference is here, though? You're trying to play him like a zoner, like a straight-up keep-away character.
I was kind of convinced that Quan Chi could play really strong keep-away, but although it turned out that in Summoner he could, and in Sorcerer he could too, I was setting it up completely wrong. And there you go, the 1-1-2. Now that was actually a really, really powerful tool of Aaron Black back then. So the 1-1-2 being plus on block, giving him a 3-down-1 check. The second Sonicfox, you realise right there what that overhead was. Sonicfox realising that I was respecting the down 1 check and blocking, waiting for my turn to press a button. Knowing that I'm blocking, he would do 1-1-2 on block into a 50-50.
50-50.
Man, I blocked a ton of these 50-50s in the set. I just didn't know what to do afterwards. It's kind of like eye-opening, really. This was such a long time ago, but the level of play in a year has been changed so drastically.
But this, I do quite
like, because that would have been standing 4 trance into jump over forward to 1-2-2, run in 1-4-1, you know, like right there. Like, this kind of stuff. And I'm not trying to go back in it. I didn't know that I could go back in it right then. I'm like, wow, I've got my armor back really early. What was that? Like, I've got armor again. Like, I've got armor here, but it's probably going to go, yeah, it's gone then. And he blocks. That's a free punish for sure.
Well, back here, you're not hit confirming back 3-2, are you? You're just going for the whole string. You're just committing to it as a
I did kind of hit confirm it, but in this set, I think I was super, super nervous, so I was kind of just sort of preemptively.
Do you kill him here?
No. Oh, no, I did. Yeah, I got around. I got the round. I actually remember looking over him going, go around on your fox. Like, I look over him, everyone's laughing and that, and I'm like, man, I'll take my little victory. I won 2 rounds.
He won 5 games, you're even.
Yeah, we'll call it even. We'll call it even.
Oh, this was, didn't they slow down his NJP to make that combo harder?
I can't remember. Full combo, and this was the end times getting mixed in the corner. Yeah, ate the last 50-50, got wrecked, and that was that. To be fair, the entire Fatal 8 experience was fantastic. It was just the level of gameplay, like, man, so much to learn. I think I pretty much went away from this understanding that, A, I need to understand how to defend better in the game, and kind of after that point, I was kind of like, well, I think I stuck with Summoner at the very beginning, and then pretty much from that point on, right, we'll pause it there. From that point on, I really, really wanted to put time into playing Sorcerer. Like, I really wanted to go, well, the spell stuff I'm really intrigued by. The Summoner thing was only ever, like, a zoning thing. And then when I realised that zoning in Mortal Kombat X is kind of tricky because of just how easy it is for people to close in space all the time, I figured, well, it's probably time to go back and kind of revisit Sorcerer.
Especially when you've got a safe meat burn slide.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, you know,
it's like, how do you keep someone away that has a safe pool?
So fighting stuff like this made me realise that zoning might not be particularly effective, but the armor was. You know, when I was playing in casuals, those 2 days, excuse me, those 2 days we were playing in preparation for this exhibition.
God, I was using Devourer back then as well. I was using Venomous.
Everyone was playing everyone, and you know, I mean, in those behind the scenes matches, I was putting in work. Like, I was actually taking. The only 2 people I struggled against back then was MIT and Sonicfox. I was doing really well versus everyone. Actually, quite a few people. This is a true story. Quite a few people, including players, were talking to me, and when I had Sonicfox, I'd used my Sorcerer versus everyone with all of the armor setups. So I was fighting Tyrant, PL, Forever King, Reinhardt, Tony T. Everyone was Sorcerer. And especially when I cornered them with Sorcerer, even back then, we knew about the dirt. And everyone was saying to me, like, they strongly believed that if anyone had the highest chance of taking out Sonicfox, it actually was my Sorcerer. I just kind of went against it and went Summoner instead for the zoning, you know. But in hindsight, I reckon if I'd have stuck with Sorcerer, well, and put that last minute bit of practice into armor setups, who knows?
You didn't know chip, but you knew knock 'em on the ground armor, and really that is all Sorcerer's corner pressure ever was with the armor, and that was enough, right? Because you've got someone standing in front of you, armored, 50-50 town. We knew that from day one. It was just because you didn't go with Sorcerer till the very end. Maybe it would have been slightly different. Realistically, I doubt. I think.
Oh no,
I'd have
still lost to Sonicfox had I stuck with Sorcerer, because I don't feel like Sorcerer was a minus day 1 character, and that's kind of what it came down to. Like, the character was not developed enough in the short amount of time Right.
And
It took time.
This has been a long video.
Hey, dude, this was interesting. I enjoyed this. It was quite nice watching it back. Like, I hadn't seen this video in true story. I have not seen this video in over a year. I can't remember what my gameplay was. I can't remember what my combos were. Basically, no setup. Like, it's quite eye-opening. I mean, like, what, a year later? Even a few months later with, like, you know, if you Google me at Evo, the gameplay is, like, night and day. And that's, like, what, 4 months? Something like that? 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how much you can develop in such a relatively short space of time. I know 4 months might not sound like a short amount of time, but in a game's competitive lifespan it is. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll watch back Evo 2015 footage after Evo 2016 and compare, you know, and see how that goes. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let us know. Thought it was a bit too long. Maybe we could cut it down for the next one. If you enjoy it, we can do more of these and analysing old gameplay. So give us your thoughts. Let us know what you think. And as usual, thanks for watching us. So we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks very much.